Hi, everyone. Welcome to the St. Francis Preparatory School Virtual College Fair. Thank you so much for joining us. We are really excited you are here. My name is Catherine, and I'll be your facilitator for this session. Before we get started, we do have a few housekeeping items to note. First, if you have any questions at all, feel free to use the Q&A button to type in your questions to the presenters at any time. They are here, ready, and available to answer your questions. Your camera and microphone are off. You are muted and your video is off. The panelists can't see or hear you. There are more sessions happening. This is one of many college presentations being offered, so feel free to sign up for more for the next time slot at the same place where you registered for this one. And lastly, all sessions are being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/SFP. We're currently in session B4, where my mouse is circling at the moment. And this is also the same order of presentations. So without further ado, I'll get out of the way and kick it off to our first representative from DePaul University.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Catherine. Good evening, friends. At St. Francis Prep, I am Ben Hatchett, Assistant Director of Admission at DePaul University. I'm coming to you from the Midwest. I'm based out here in Indiana. DePaul is a small private liberal arts college just outside the city of Indianapolis, Indiana. So I hope in 6 minutes to demystify a little bit about the Midwest and explain a little bit what you're looking at a small private school like DePaul. So we're all about the liberal arts here. On your screen, you see beautiful East College. We're a 100% residential college community. Again, really close to a metropolitan center like Indianapolis, but we're definitely rural in location, just kind of the outer rim of the suburbs of Indianapolis. So a small town feel with a really close-knit community on our campus. You can see that our student to faculty ratio is around 8-to-1. We have 2,000 students here at DePaul University. We're entirely undergraduate. So if you're looking for maybe those smaller classroom sizes, environment where you get to meet with your professor, you'll know friends right away, but also be able to take smaller classes, never in a giant lecture hall, then this is kind of a good fit for you. As you can see, there are a couple of unique things about a school like DePaul. We're the #1 liberal arts college in the state of Indiana. Not that that's too relevant for my out-of-state friends joining us tonight, but I do think it's pretty worthwhile to note that they're one of the top 50 nationally ranked liberal arts colleges in the country, been recognized as a beautiful college campus. We have a recognized study abroad program, being 4th in the country. 90% of our students in our medical track program are going right on to med school. So for any healthcare professionals in the room, there's an amazing program waiting for you at DePaul. One thing that I love about our campus community as well is just that having almost 30% of our students get involved in Division III athletics adds a lot to our sense of school spirit and community. Whether you yourself are considering being an athlete or continuing your athletic career, we're a Division III institution in the North Coast Athletic Conference. So I'm always happy to talk more about D3 sports if you're looking to continue on in your athletic career at DePaul. We have all the athletic programs offered in our conference as well. So to continue on a little bit, I want to talk about this exciting thing that you might have to look forward to, which is going to school. Hopefully no one, I'm looking at the chat, no one seems to be leaving just yet. So we're doing well. We have all of our participants still with us tonight. You probably guessed it, by joining all of our schools tonight, you're going to be learning more about the classroom experience. So you're not going to get away from that at DePaul. We have 2 schools that make us a university. We have our college liberal arts and we have our school of music. Right here at a quick glance, you can see our top 10 majors listed in alphabetical, or listed in kind of descending order, actually in popularity on this chart. What I love about the top 10 is that you actually see a little bit of everything, which is a great example of just the power of the liberal arts. You have the social sciences, the science and mathematics, some arts and humanities, all well represented in that top 10 listing, but there are actually 49 different majors and 56 minors that you have access to as a DePaul Tiger. There's a lot that you can do here, including create your own major. If we were to have met 3-4 years ago, you wouldn't have found neuroscience, global health, and a couple of our global programs like language offerings in our listing of majors and minors. But what our faculty actually were able to do was listen to our students and figure out that we had so many students creating programs on their own that it doesn't take long for us to develop full departments to match kind of what you're looking for. Again, when you're one of 15 to 17 in the classroom, it makes it a lot easier to get to know your professors, and they in turn know you and listen to what you're looking for in your education experience here. We have an amazing School of Music. I am the counselor for the Mid-Atlantic, New England, and the Northeast US. But if you end up going through the full audition-based process in the School of Music, you might begin working with George Paulton, my colleague in the School of Music, but we're all close-knit. But we do have a 4-year and a dual degree audition-based School of Music at DePaul University. One of the big things that we like to do is get you connected to programs outside of the classroom. We offer study abroad experiences. We offer tons of faculty research. About over a third of our students will get involved directly in hand faculty research experiences. Over 90% of our students will have some type of experience off campus. So here's just kind of a larger listing of how you can take advantage of those 4 years at DePaul. We are a 100% residential college environment. We're getting really close to having all of our Tigers back joining us on campus. We have about quarters of our students currently on campus, and we've made the call that we will require the vaccine for COVID-19 this fall semester, and we're planning to reopen campus almost to 100% capacity this fall. But when you're here, you have tons of clubs, organizations to check out. There's something really special about choosing a fully residential college environment where you have concerts, shows, all these things at your disposal. We have an amazing guest list of speakers. We are founded with the United Methodist Church, and today have a dedicated center for spiritual life and interfaith, where you'll be able to find places of worship to continue or discover your spiritual life at DePaul. My final moments here, I want to talk a little bit and demystify this application process. We are a free application, and we are entering our 4th year as a truly test optional university. So any test scores you're taking will not be required for admission to DePaul. We instead look at your overall transcript, those letters of recommendation, everything that you're involved in and out of the classroom. There are a few things just to know, just some deadlines to keep in mind. And last but not least, you cannot be here on campus 24/7 like I can. So check out our social media accounts. My contact information is here, and I will be your admission counselor. So I will turn it over back to Catherine, and I'll talk to you in the chat if you have any questions.
Awesome, thank you. The next representative is from Lasell University.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brian Cohen. I'm one of the admission counselors here at Lasell University. As you see, a beautiful picture of our campus, and I'm coming to you tonight from Newton, Massachusetts, and we are just about 8 miles outside of downtown Boston. Our campus has about 1,800 undergraduate students, and we have a nice 13-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. So small class sizes, our average class size is 17. We cap our classes at 25. So students can really get that nice one-on-one connection with their professors. All of our professors are either currently in their fields or they have been in the past, so they know exactly what they're talking about and what they're preaching to you. We also have a lot of 3- and 5-year degrees. So if students want to decide to graduate within an accelerated model, they can do that. At the same time, students are also able to expand into a 5-year degree and do what we call a blender model, meaning sometimes taking your graduate classes in year 4, before you go into the 5th year. Looking at internships and connected learning. So here at Lasell, we really believe in, project-based learning, experience learning, career readiness. So every student here at Lasell is required to take at least one internship. Something that really sets us apart from a lot of other institutions is that we do require, our students to take at least one. Hey, some students who are really ambitious take 2, 3 internships, for their desired major. And when it comes to connected learning, all of our students are involved in, like I said, project-based learning, learning that is career readiness. You're going over lectures and notes, but you're also kind of getting your hands dirty in the material that you're going to be working on in the future. We have 80% resident students here on campus, and that number, is about, right now with COVID, it's about 70 to 80%, but in a typical year, it's 80% resident students. So a pretty residential campus here in the Boston area. Over 70 clubs and organizations on campus, and if you're a student and we don't have a club that you want, it's super easy to get a club started. All you have to do is have yourself and 2 other students, along with one faculty advisor like myself, or coach or teacher, go ahead and sign on, and boom, you have a club. And then finally, we are Division III. We have 17 Division III NCAA sports on campus. And we also have clubs and intramurals as well, like flag football, floor hockey. We do have a club rowing team as well. So a ton of opportunities to stay active and play sports here at Lasell. Looking at our academic schools, we have 5 schools under our main university. We have the School of Business, which encompasses business management, accounting, finance, marketing, sport management, hospitality management, just to name a few. Looking at School of Communication and the Arts, journalism, entertainment, media. We also have under there our graphic design program, which is a very popular program, also sports communication as well. Our School of Fashion, which is a very popular school, has our fashion design and production, fashion media and marketing, and then fashion merchandising and management. So you get a little bit of fashion, but you also get some design along with some business side of fashion as well. Our School of Health Science talks more about, our exercise science major, fitness management, forensic science. We also have a cybersecurity and data analytics incorporated with our health science program. And then finally, our School of Humanities, Education, Justice, and Social Sciences. There you find your psychologies, your sociologies, criminal justice, education, all those good things. And then finally, we're big, like I said, career readiness here at Lasell. We have a 98% job placement rate. So either after 6 months after graduation, you're either in, graduate school or you're working as a full-time job. And that happens for 98% of our students here on campus. Talking about next steps, I know we cover a lot of this tonight. Visiting our campus is going to be big. We are open. We do have students, socially distanced tours. Our student tour guides are, here waiting to meet with you, as well as our admissions counselors, them as well. And we are, we're keeping our tours socially distanced. So the next steps, the application opens August 1st, 2021. We are a Common App school. You can also find us on our portal application, which is also a free application too. And the application requirements involve, just a transcript, letter of recommendation, essay, things like that. And then finally, for our fashion design and graphic design majors, those we do we encourage portfolio reviews. So portfolio reviews could be anything from 5 to 10 pieces if you're interested in design. And again, going back to connected learning, we expect, our professors will, they'll go ahead and they'll read your portfolio, and then you can be awarded an extra certain amount of money based off of your work on that portfolio review. Looking at our FAFSA, that opens up October 1st as well. So those are just some of our next steps. I realize I do have a couple more minutes here, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to kind of highlight again our proximity to Boston. Also on the Green Line. So I know a lot of you guys down there in New York City are probably used to the metro system and the subway. Here we do have our Green Line, Red Line, Orange Line, Blue Line. And we're right on the Green Line here at Lasell. So, 15, 20 minutes in, right into Boston. Also, a 10, 15-minute drive as well. So the access to the city is so important. A lot of our students go over there to do internships. A lot of our fashion students will do Boston Fashion Week. We have people work at Fenway Park in our sport management program, doing security and other events over there and for the Red Sox. That's just to name a few. Also, students love to just go into the city to, enjoy a relaxing weekend or, go work a job and do an internship, all that good stuff. And I should also talk about, 80% resident students as well. A lot of our students will tend to stay on campus, although we do have, we do have a good commuting population as well. On the weekends, a lot of our students like to stay here. So I know I'm running about 6 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up. And I look forward to answering your questions in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Very helpful. Just a friendly reminder that if anyone has any questions at all, to feel free to submit those using the Q&A function. Any questions at all, our representatives are here and available to answer all your questions. The next representative is from Stony Brook University.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us all today. My name is Emilio Darvay. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at Stony Brook University, and I have the pleasure to give a very brief overview about Stony Brook University. All right, so let's get started here. So Stony Brook University is a part of the SUNY system, which stands for the State University of New York. We are one out of 64 SUNY institutions and one out of 4 SUNY university centers. As they have a beautiful aerial image up of the main campus here, I'll speak about some aspects of the main campus, the community, and location as well. All right, so Stony Brook University is about 60 miles away from New York City. We are on the northern shore of Long Island, surrounded by beautiful, amazing beaches. All right, we have a very close beach, the West Meadow Beach, which is about 10 miles away, or 10 minutes away rather. And we do also have the Long Island Railroad. So any of you who are interested in commuting right into the city, there's a train station that stops directly into campus. And this can take you to the city in just over an hour on that train station. All right, we have many students who will either commute or go into the city for an internship, employment, shadowing, volunteer opportunity. Really a great geographic location here. All right, to continue on this main campus, you'll notice that there is a cluster of buildings in the center here. That is what we consider our academic mall. Okay, so that is where the majority of students will take their courses. You'll notice some pockets of building extended out from that main circle as well, and that's typically our residential spaces. So in any given year before COVID, of course, we would have over 10,000 students residing on campus, which is the largest residential population in the SUNY system. We offer quarter-style living, suite-style living, and apartment-style living for our students. All right, speaking about the location once again, we are also about 10-15 minutes away from Port Jefferson Village. It's a beautiful old-fashioned town with lots of coffee houses, shops, and diners for our students, as well as a ferry stop that can take you into Connecticut in just about an hour. All right, in addition to that, I'll also mention our University Hospital Center. It's a Trauma One center, very vital to all of Suffolk County. And if you look at the bottom right corner here, I don't have an image for you, but it just shows you how close in proximity that hospital center is. And that's a great resource for our students of many majors, whether you are interested in nursing, you're on the pre-health, pre-med track, and then the list goes on. So a bunch of beautiful opportunities, whether you're shadowing, volunteer, or actually studying over there in that hospital center. All right, continuing on here, Stony Brook University was founded in 1957. We have a total student population approaching 27,000. Of that total population, 18,000 are undergraduate students. So if you become future Seawolves, you will be the overwhelming majority. And please keep in mind that we do have over 1,000 acres of land. So we are an institution considered on the larger side. In addition to that, I will mention we have a 19-to-1 student faculty ratio. Okay, getting into some of the academics here. So Stony Brook University has over 200 academic programs. That includes our majors, our minors, and our combined degree programs. All of these programs will fall under one of these colleges or schools listed here. So starting off, we have the Colleges of Arts and Science, which is our largest college, which houses our science programs, our humanities, and our fine and performing arts students. We have the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences, which houses our engineering programs, computer science and information systems, our College of Business, which houses our popular business management program with concentrations such as finance, marketing, and operations. We have the School of Journalism, which you'll be pleased to know is the only school of journalism in the SUNY system. We have the School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences here. And if you look at this image displayed here, that's actually some SOMAS students getting some hands-on learning on our Southampton campus, which is about an hour away. Then we also have our School of Nursing, School of Social Welfare, School of Health Technology and Management with both clinical and non-clinical tracks, as well as our School of Medicine and School of Dental Medicine. So tons of opportunities and avenues for students to explore here at this institution. Continuing on to some great opportunities provided, we have more than 2,000 undergraduate researchers annually. So we are a top research institution. Research is very important to our faculty and students here at this institution. And we do have a great program. So the Undergraduate Research and Creative Activities program is a great resource to align some research opportunities either on campus or off campus, possibly in New York City as well. And this can align with your interest or academic interests. There's many avenues for students interested in research. And that's for students of all different majors. Of course, we have study abroad opportunities. We have academic programs spanning over 25 different countries. Okay, and hopefully that's up and running sometime close in the future. But a great thing about being a part of the SUNY system is that you're eligible to apply to our programs at this institution as well as any of the other SUNY schools. And of course, there are opportunities for you to apply your financial aid and scholarship opportunities overseas. These are some great traditions that are happening annually here at this institution. Roth Pond Regatta is one of my favorites, but every student has their own favorite. So some great things to explore at the institution. Getting into the nitty gritty, so the application process, okay? So typically for our first year applicants, that priority deadline is January 15th. We are rolling basis admission, so students will continuously apply. You have to apply using a transcript, okay? And you can apply either on the Common App, SUNY app, or Coalition app. In addition to that transcript, you'll be supplying some supplemental materials, so your recommendation college essay. And then in regards to us being test optional, we do not know as of yet. So we're part of the SUNY system and SUNY has to mandate that. So please keep in contact with our admission staff and please continue to check on our website. All right. As of fall 2020, we were able to enroll over 3,000 students with an admit rate of 49%. Total applications was over 32,000. So a large amount of applications there. Continuing on, we do take AP credit, college credit, and IP credit as well. And do keep in mind in regards to financial aid, 79% of our freshmen receive financial aid, while 70% of our freshmen does receive an institutional award and merit-based award. Okay, lastly here, I love to end on this slide. 95% of our graduates are either employed or continuing their education. So that goes to show all the great things happening here, but also our Career Center, who's great at hosting internship fairs and job fairs in the beginning of the year, as well as doing resume, cover letter workshops, and so on. All right, I'll leave this contact information here for you. So if you have a smartphone device, feel free to snap that digital inquiry card, or you can email us, call us, or text us as well. It was a pleasure presenting to you all, and I'll pass it on to the next rep. Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. Our next representative is from the University of Connecticut.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking some time out of your evening to join us and learn a little bit more about what myself and my colleagues have to offer at our respective schools. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit tonight about the University of Connecticut, better known as UConn, and a little bit about what we have to offer both academically as well as outside the classroom. So a little bit about who we are. We were founded in 1881. We are the flagship university of the state of Connecticut. We're consistently ranked among the top 25 public universities in the nation, according to U.S. News and World Report. We have roughly 24,000 students across all 5 of our campuses, the majority of which, about 19,000 of them, live on campus and attend classes at our main campus in Stores, which you can see is in the northeastern part of the state. We have 4 regional campuses located in Hartford, Avery Point, Waterbury, and Stamford. Stamford is the only regional campus with on-campus housing. So the majority of our campuses, our regional campuses rather, are for commuting students. Sorry about the slideshow, it's set up to automatically advance, so I apologize for that. Students do have the opportunity to apply to one or more of our regional campuses. You're given the opportunity to apply to a first choice campus and a second choice campus as part of your application to the university. We also have a 5th campus, UConn Health, in Farmington, Connecticut, that's home to our schools of medicine and dental medicine. We have over 115 total undergraduate majors for students to choose from across 10 different schools and colleges, as well as over 120 undergraduate minors and concentrations. Our most popular programs and our largest programs are in biological sciences and psychology. Some of our more competitive programs are in business, engineering, fine arts, and nursing. We have a 16:1 student faculty ratio on campus. We try to keep classes small as best as possible. The vast majority of our classes across campus do enroll fewer than 30 students to allow for those collaborative experiences between a student and the professor, and a student and their peers as well. You can see a listing of some of our majors there. I mentioned the selective programs for schools of engineering and nursing. Students are required to take both chemistry and physics in high school. They have to be listed as either in progress or completed credits on your application at the time of, or on your transcript rather, at the time of application. For the School of Fine Arts, some sort of portfolio or audition is required depending on the program that you're applying to. Our honors program, students are given automatic consideration for admission to our honors program, as well as automatic consideration for merit-based scholarships upon their application to the university. We do a holistic review process, which I'll talk more about in a moment, for both of those components. We have special programs in law, medicine, dental medicine, and education. The special programs in law, medicine, and dental medicine, as long as you complete the requirements successfully, do guarantee admission to those professional level schools after the completion of 4 years of undergraduate work. We have over 700 companies actively recruiting our students every year. Those opportunities are available to through our Center for Career Development. They conduct over 1,100 on-campus interviews every year. We have over 135 study abroad experiences for students to choose from across 65 countries worldwide. Students can complete internship opportunities, service learning opportunities, research opportunities, as well as take classes with one of our partner institutions as part of a study abroad experience. You might have heard a thing or two about our athletic programs, particularly our men's and women's basketball programs. We have 24 total NCAA Division I sports teams. We've won 23 national championships across all of our athletic programs. We have over 700 clubs and organizations for students to choose from, 16 intramural teams, and 37 club sports teams as well. Some basic requirements for admission: foreign language, English, math, sciences, and electives. And again, that chemistry and physics requirement for our schools of engineering and nursing. We are test optional. This year was our first year going test optional. We will be test optional for the next 3 admission cycles as well. We do not require letters of recommendation. We highly recommend that you submit at least 2 from a teacher, a counselor, community activist that you work with, or whatever the case may be, someone who can speak to your ability to succeed and contribute to the larger community. And we do require the essay as well. I recommend that you spend a lot of time and energy on your essay, because that's really our chance to get to know you as part of your application. I mentioned briefly the holistic review that we do on all the applications that we receive. We're not just focused on your GPA and your test scores if you choose to submit them. We're focused on the rigor of your high school course load, community and extracurricular involvement that you have, personal character, background, circumstances. We take that all into consideration when we're reviewing your application. No one component necessarily holds more weight than another as part of the application review process. I mentioned test optional. We will be test optional for the next 3 application cycles. December 1st is our priority application deadline for merit-based scholarships in the honors program, while our on-time application deadline is January 15th. If you apply in between those 2 dates, you will still be considered for scholarships and honors, but priority consideration is given to those students who apply prior to December 1st. Our application opens on August 1st. We accept either the common or coalition application. Our FAFSA deadline is February 15th for on-time eligibility. March 1st is when we send out all admissions decisions and financial aid awards on that same date. And then May 1st is both our regional campus application deadline as well as the deadline to submit your deposit if you choose to attend UConn in the fall. Just a little bit of information about our first year class for the class of 2024. About 42% of our students identify as a racial or ethnic minority. We are very happy about the increased diversity of our campus each year. Just a shot of our main campus and stores. My contact information, you can feel free to email me with any additional questions that you have. I do represent Long Island and the eastern part of Queens, which includes St. Francis, and my email address is on our admissions website as well. So I'm right at about 6 minutes. So I will stop sharing my screen and hand it off to the next representative. Thank you, guys.
Great, thank you. Just another friendly reminder that if anyone has any questions at all, to feel free to submit those through the Q&A. Any question at all about the college application process or for a specific school, we encourage you to include the school name in your question. Our last representative, but certainly not least, is from University of Rochester.
And I'm good. You can see my screen, right? Yes. Fantastic. Thank you. Hi, folks. My name is Erica Padilla. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm the Regional Associate Director for the New York Metro area for the University of Rochester. I work with students who are coming from all 5 boroughs, so I'm your admissions counselor at the university. To kind of kick us off, the University of Rochester is located in the city of Rochester on the ancestral lands of the Seneca people. That's about roughly 6 hours from New York City, or a shuttle flight. It's like a 40-minute shuttle flight from JFK Airport. The Rochester Airport is like 10 minutes from campus, so it's super convenient. We're in an area of Western New York that's also known as the Finger Lakes region of the state. The picture that's on your screen now is actually the River Campus. I like to think of the River Campus as like our hub or the heartbeat of the university. And that's because it's home to the College of Arts, Sciences, and Engineering, which is basically all of our undergraduate programs, except for the ones that are offered by Eastman, which is our School of Music that's in downtown Rochester, about 10 minutes away roughly. But also on the River Campus, we have our graduate schools of engineering, business, education, several of which we've partnered with to be able to offer direct admission for graduate study for a combined BA and graduate program. And then across the street, not visible in the picture, is the University of Rochester Medical Center. And right next to that is actually the School of Medicine. We've also partnered with them to be able to offer direct admission to medical school. On the River Campus, we have about 5,500 undergraduate students. We tend to be pretty community centered. About 90% of our students live on campus. Most students just like staying on campus because of that spirit of community, but then also so much access to resources. The university is actually one of the largest employers in our region, everything connected to like the medical center that I mentioned, but also a vast healthcare network. All the multitude of research institutes and facilities that are part of the university means there's a lot of opportunity to kind of have hands-on experience for our students. Usually when I'm at a fair, which I'm hoping I get to see all of you in person quite soon, the question that I get most often is how to describe one of our students. It's hard to answer the question because Rochester students are literally coming from all different walks of life and all different backgrounds. About a quarter of our students are international. We represent 140 countries, all states across the union. About a quarter of our students identify as being the first in their families to go to college. And our organizations are a wonderful representation of that diversity of backgrounds and that multitude of identities. So is our intercultural center actually at the university. Maybe there are two things that I think a lot of students have in common. The first is there's a genuine love of learning and true academic curiosity. But then also at Rochester, we live by our institutional motto, Meliora, which means ever better. The idea of being ever better means that we're always working to improve ourselves, but lifting each other up also as part of the community, and then working for the betterment of mankind as well. Working to better ourselves means also giving students latitude to be the kind of learners that they want to be. So at Rochester, you can build your own curriculum. We do not have core classes or general education requirements. Instead, we want our students to really pursue the things that they're most passionate about. So if you've always been curious about business, if you know you want to be an engineer, if you're passionate about dance, you're actually able to start those classes from the moment that you arrive on campus. That means that every single class that you're in, much like the decision you made to be in that class, your peers have made that choice. And so every class is populated by students that have made that very intentional choice to be in that class. It creates a very different dynamic in the classroom. Students are super engaged. Conversations tend to spill over into life outside of the classroom too. But you're not doing it alone. We have the anomaly that as a tier 1 research university, we're actually one of the smallest in the country. We have a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. You have a whole network of people working with you to support you along the way. So you're not making these decisions entirely on your own. I'm super proud of the fact that almost 100% of our students will participate in an internship, many in more than one. And because of the flexibility of curriculum, almost half of our students will graduate with 2 majors, some with more than that. Of course, not a requirement, just one of those things that seems to work out. At the heart of the university, though, we are a research institution. About 80% of our undergraduate students will be involved in research, and it's really critical. We want for our undergraduate students to be part of that creative process. Research at Rochester happens across the spectrum. So when I mention research, if you're picturing lab coats and bleakers, that's totally appropriate. But our dancers are involved in research. Students in the psychology program, there's room to innovate and to create anywhere. And you can actually apply to get your own undergraduate research grant to fund your own original work. It's not uncommon for our students to graduate having already been published, sometimes with a faculty member or through also our undergraduate research journal. On your screen right now is actually all of our application cycles and deadlines. Coincidentally, Rochester went test optional last year, so we remain test optional. We meet full demonstrated financial need for all students who are admitted to the University of Rochester. And with that, I really want to invite all of you to actually join one of our virtual events until we're able to host you formally in person. And I welcome all of your questions. Thanks so much for listening. I'm going to toss it right back to you, Catherine.
Perfect, thank you. All great information shared from all our representatives. And so we really appreciate you all just being here and again, just sharing so much great valuable information about your respective schools. We do have some time left. And so we're gonna go ahead now and pivot into our Q&A portion of the session. And so I invite all our representatives at this time to turn on their videos to get ready to unmute themselves, and we get started with our first question here, which is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? Again, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we'll go ahead and get started in the same order in which you all presented it.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. Great question. So I'm going to keep it kind of simple. Start checking your email. We use a lot of email, and so are your professors going to. So you're going to be kind of expected to reply regularly, start looking at things. I know all of my friends here can't wait to start working with you during your college search. So ask those questions, work with us when you can, but definitely start making a habit of, refreshing that inbox, cleaning it up from time to time, and being a little responsive.
I second that as well. That's very good advice. And just being, understanding that, checking your email, being on top of things, and then obviously letting, your admissions counselor know whatever you need. It's a stressful process for sure. And, we're here to help you. I'm sure everybody else in this, Zoom room would say that, we're here to make sure you're making the best decision for yourself and your family, and know that, and use this as resources. That's kind of the biggest advice. We're here to help, and here to, do whatever we can to make sure you get the best experience wherever, whatever school you decide to go to.
Yes, please do check your emails. Even current students at times have difficulties doing that, and that's a skill that will be useful as you progress throughout your undergraduate career. But to really add on to that, I would also say during your college search process, really think carefully. Everyone has different goals, interests, and endeavors. So pick an institution that speaks to you, not just what everyone else is doing. So definitely look carefully at that process. And like my colleague stated, reach out to the admissions teams and really question your different interests and find something that speaks to your passions and interests.
Yeah, that's all great advice. What I would say, to add on to everything, is do as much research as you possibly can. When I was looking at colleges, when I chose the college that I wanted, I visited campus about 4 different times. We certainly lived in different times at that point. But definitely take advantage of virtual experiences. Again, reach out to your admissions counselor. No research is too much research when it comes to college, because that is potentially where you're going to spend the next 4 years of your life, and you want to be comfortable there. You want to get comfortable with campus. Visit campus if you can at UConn. We are resuming on-campus tours for prospective students in late May. So, get on our email list. I can put that information in the chat for you to do that. But definitely do as much research as possible for the schools that you're interested in.
And the one thing that I would add is I would argue that we're all even more available to you than possibly even ever before by virtue of being virtual. Even departments on our campuses that perhaps before you may not have been able to connect with are actually available to you. They're just maybe a workshop away or an email to your admissions counselor away. So fully take advantage of those opportunities as a way of learning more about our communities. And also there's this huge misconception when you go to college that you have to have it all figured out. You need to know what your major is going to be. You need to know everything. The truth is that you don't. You can have some ideas, but if you don't know, so long as you have an understanding of the types of characteristics in a community that you really want, also that you know that your investment is going to be a solid investment based on what graduates from that school are doing, for example. Choosing the right environment is a really big part of making sure that you're successful, even if you're not sure yet what you want to do for a major.
All great advice, and I couldn't agree more. As it's been stated, they're here as a resource, so feel free to use them and ask questions. Our next question here is, what is your favorite event or tradition on campus?
And at DePaul University, it has to be the Monon Bell Classic. We have one of the longest running college football rivalry games in the country. For a small private liberal arts college, we'll actually bring 10,000 students, or 10,000 fans, I should say, back to campus. Again, we're a school of 2,000, so to have that big game day is a lot of fun. The Monon Bell games celebrate 126th running. It would have had its 127th this year, but we had to postpone that game for obvious reasons. We got to keep the prize of that game, though, since we won last year. It's a giant 300-pound bell that ran on a rail line through the Midwest. It's a lot of fun. I've never got to carry it, but usually it's a lot of fun to watch the football team get to drag that off and celebrate. You'll hear that ringing all over campus after it's won. There's a parade all across town, but it's actually the only nationally televised Division III football game. So it's a lot of fun.
My favorite tradition here at Lasell is probably River Day. It happens usually in October, and what it is it's the final day of our Friends, Family, and Alumni Weekend. So we have not only our current students there, but we have our alumni, we have our family members there, and it's basically like a bunch of races on the Charles River. So not sure how many of you guys are familiar with Boston area, but the Charles River is kind of is a big river that splits Boston and Cambridge. And with that, we have a bunch of different kayak races, boat races, and it's a really great day. And you kind of just celebrate the tradition of Lasell and kind of, what it all means.
Yeah, we have also a really fun event called Roth Pond Regatta. I did show a little bit of a snippet earlier on, but this is a great event where you'll see administrators, faculty, staff, clubs, and organizations all come out and cheer the crowd on. The way it works is student groups are racing across Roth Pond, which is in the center of campus, but you can only use cardboard boxes, duct tape, and markers or other decor. So you'll really start to see the engineering students finally come out of their residential spaces and people get creative and race across. And you'll be surprised how many boats actually make it across the pond. So it's a really cool and fun event.
For UConn, I would say, as I mentioned in the presentation, that you might have heard a thing or two about our men's and women's basketball teams on campus. I would say that my favorite event on campus is those basketball games. Hopefully this winter we are able to get fans back in the stands. A lot of our games are nationally televised, given the appeal of our athletic programs. All home athletic events are free for all students to attend, not just for basketball, but for all of our athletic teams. And our students do a fantastic job of coming out to show their school spirit. We call it Husky Pride, and really support our student athletes, our athletic programs themselves. Our athletics department does a great job of getting the students involved in the games. There's a student section, as there are at most universities, but there are contests throughout the games, shooting contests and all of that. So definitely the basketball games is definitely something that that students should come and check out.
Rochester actually has something called Meliora Weekend, which is, the city of Rochester is actually a really musical city. The university has the School of Music. So think of Meliora Weekend as sort of a gigantic festival. It lasts for several days. There are performances going on all weekend. It's a combination also of Alumni Weekend, so where a lot of alums will come back to campus to connect with faculty, with staff, to meet some of our current students. And the best part is really just all being together in the spirit of community. There are rides on campus and food trucks. It gets kind of crazy. And it's basically a 3-day massive get together that's also open to the Rochester community outside of campus.
Great. I think we can squeeze in one more. So we'll go ahead and dive into this last question here, which is, give an interesting or fun fact about your school.
Fun fact for DePaul, while we're a small school, and I might have talked about this a little bit, we actually have 700 acres that make up our physical campus. 500 of that is actually a dedicated nature park that's all connected to campus. So a mile from the admission office begins the DePaul Nature Park. It's 10 miles of trail hiking. We have a biology field research station. As a student at DePaul, I love just being able to just leave class and go for a walk or go for a run or for a hike. You didn't have to go very far.
So a fun fact about us is we're actually located along the Boston Marathon route. So on Marathon Monday, also Patriots Day was a state holiday here in Massachusetts. A lot of our students like to just walk to the other side of campus and stand out on the marathon route and watch the runners go by, give them high fives, give them water bottles, all that good stuff. And then on the other side of campus, we have like a DJ, and it's like a nice block party celebration that a lot of our students love. So it's one of our big traditions. I chose River Day for the last one, but that's also another one of our larger traditions here at Lasell. But yeah, it's a great day.
Awesome. Fun fact, many years ago, we had some researchers, so faculty and student researchers in the computer science department who actually took part in creating the barcode. So whenever you're scanning an item at the grocery store or something else, definitely think of Stony Brook.
Well, I apologize about being repetitive by talking about basketball again, but I'm going to anyway. So for our basketball teams, to illustrate just how successful they are, we're actually the only school in the country in which our men's and women's basketball teams have won their respective national championships in the same year, 2 different times. I believe the first time was in 2014. Hasn't happened since, but that is a point of pride to again illustrate how successful our basketball teams tend to be every year.
So the University of Rochester was actually a test site for one of the COVID vaccines. It's actually been, the university's been a really important contributor to COVID research and treatment, which has been pretty amazing to witness on campus and off campus. And we also happen to be one of the top producers of Fulbright student grant recipients. And we're really proud of that distinction because it's been going on for a few years now. So that's my fun fact. Fun facts.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you to our representatives for being here, for answering all the questions in the Q&A. I know there are still a couple more coming through here, so we'll try to get to those last minute or get to those before we close here. If not, that's okay. Our representatives will try to follow up, but we have reached the conclusion of this session. I love hearing all the fun traditions and events and interesting facts on campus. It is just great to hear all the different ones from all the different schools. So hope you all enjoy the Q&A. And again, thank you to our representatives. And thank you to each of you for joining us. We have reached, as we close, there'll be a very quick 4-question survey that will appear on your browser. If you don't mind taking a moment to fill that out for us, your feedback is super helpful to us. There are more sessions happening, so feel free to sign up for more sessions happening tonight. And lastly, all sessions are being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/SFP. Again, thank you all and have a great night.